Welcome to TV Anthology Reviews. We will be covering Monsters Season 2, Episode 17 and Episode 18. Episode 17, One Wolf's Family. We open with a family of werewolves featuring Jerry Stiller as an angry, cranky old werewolf. The goofy music sets the tone that this will be a lighter episode, but this one does feature a lot more severed limbs than the average comic episode and isn't too goofy. We have a mother, father, and their daughter Anya, who is excited to introduce her father to her new boyfriend. We get messages about the American dream. It also touches on immigration and conspiracy theories, but like usually with Monsters episodes, the messaging gets a little muddled. Anya's boyfriend is a were-hyena, and Jerry Stiller doesn't want to accept him into their family since he is so different.
Victor, you always say that America gives everyone a fresh start. Old hatreds have no place here.
What are you trying to tell me?
Everybody gets a chance for a new life, be they black or white, young or old, werewolf or...
No.
Were-hyena.
No!
Anya's fiancé is a were...
No, not one of those mangy, slinking, bone-eating, flea-ridden, grave-robbing cowards!
But Anya...
Greta, our people have always hated the scavengers. That's just the way it is. Accept it, it's in our blood.
We then get the best character of the episode, Miss Peabody. She is very nosy and doesn't much like, well, anyone in her neighborhood. But she does notice something seems odd at the house and sees dog tracks and lots of anatomy books in their kitchen. We are supposed to dislike her conspiracy theories and racially tinged language, but the message misses, since as crazy as she is, she's actually correct. There are werewolves in this house who are killing people in the neighborhood. The message gets sacrificed for the plot.
And that's what this country's all about, right?
Right.
Oh, here, anybody can become a citizen. Nothing I can do about it. Not that I would, of course.
Of course.
We then get introduced to the were-hyena, and we get a yell-off on who is more annoying, the were-hyena or Jerry Stiller.
Stop it.
Look, I insult him to his face, and he laughs. Get out, you spineless slug!
Thanks for dinner, Miss Lopezia. Bye, Anya.
All the while, Alex Jones's wife decides to call the cops on the werewolves.
Werewolves! A whole family of them. No, I am not drunk. This is me, Agnes Peabody. Oh, right. So I was wrong about the UFOs and the Elvis sighting, but this time I have got proof. So you just send that squad car over here right now.
The werewolf family reflects on how they had a much easier life than the were-hyenas, and Greta tries to convince her husband Victor to give their daughter's boyfriend a chance after he has calmed down. The were-hyena Stanley doesn't give up and has to find some way to win over his girlfriend Anya's family, since her father is intolerant of were-hyena, saying they eat out of the trash and aren't as sophisticated and good enough for his daughter Anya. The were-hyena Stanley is able to find a way to win over Anya's family.
Wipe them out?
How else are we going to keep the neighborhood safe for decent Americans?
Well, I got a pretty good idea. Something I put together. I hope you enjoy it.
I give One Wolf's Family a 5 out of 10. It's a bit gruesome and has some type of message. It also moves at a decent pace, but personally, I don't love Jerry Stiller. Even in Seinfeld, I find him as George's father overbearing. The episode does feature a real family. The mother Greta is played by Anna Mari, who is in real life married to Jerry Stiller, who plays the werewolf father Victor. Anya is played by Amy Stiller, who is the real-life daughter of Jerry Stiller and Anne Mari. Jerry Stiller is, of course, the real-life father of Ben Stiller. Jerry Stiller passed away in 2020, and his wife passed away in 2015.
We've been worried about you. You had a very serious concussion. You've been unconscious for almost 72 hours. Do you remember the accident?
What accident?
We start at a hospital. The main character, Lewis, has suffered a concussion after a car accident. Coincidentally, his mother is also in the hospital, but she has cancer. He is told to be more careful and then makes his way into his mother's room. We get the monster reveal early in this episode, and it is quite large, one of the biggest we have ever seen. I like it. This is the monster which inserts slugs into people, giving them cancer. Lewis refers to it as a vampire, but I think it looks more like a praying mantis. This episode takes on the very real increase of cancer that happened during the 1980s. Looking at this chart, we see the cancer rates went from 198.6 per 100,000 people in 1970 to 207 in 1980. And when this episode came out in 1990, the cancer rates reached an all-time high of 216. Since the 1990s, the cancer rates have dropped. People at the time were trying to figure out why it was increasing, and this is mentioned a few times in this episode. Lewis tries to explain the creature he saw to the doctor, and, of course, he doesn't believe him. It starts out somewhat realistic, then takes some liberties. Lewis gets to see some radiation treatment and realizes that his head injury allows him to see these creatures, and he has an idea on how to stop them and cure his mother.
There wasn't enough time. You didn't give enough radiation.
28.6 seconds. It's precisely enough time for this treatment.
What's the source of your radiation?
Radioisotopes of cobalt-60.
Do you mind if I took a look at them?
Lewis then does something we at TV Anthology Reviews suggest you don't do. He breaks in and consumes the cobalt-60. Lewis takes the cancer slugs out of his mother and feeds it to the praying mantis cancer vampire, causing it to self-destruct. It was a good idea to play this episode with seriousness, since it goes places nobody expects. A praying mantis inserts slugs into its victims, giving them cancer. That is the reason for the raise of cancer rates in the 1980s, and the only way to defeat it is to eat cobalt-60, take out the slugs, giving yourself cancer, but then sending those cancer cobalt-60 radiation slugs back into the praying mantis, thus causing cancer deaths to fall all throughout the 90s. This one grew on me since it's a little confusing at first, but the main character does a great job, and the monster is impressive. 6 out of 10.
Love you, Mom.
The main character, Lewis, was played by Robert Krantz. He had bit parts in Back to the Future and Short Circuit, and now seems to make Christian movies like Faith, Hope, and Love and Marriage in Heaven. It was written by Dan Simmons, who wrote actual books. His novel The Terror was developed into an anthology show by AMC. He also wrote Hyperion and Olympus. The Offering was directed by Ernest Farino, a visual effects artist for The Terminator and The Abyss, and a bunch of other 80s movies. That's it for this episode. Check out my other two channels, Classic Public Domain Audiobooks and Indigo Flow Productions, where I cover old school YouTubers. Next episode, Far Below.